Hello and welcome back to a Prepared Mind short. Man, what a weird day. Really super duper crazy weird. I was watching a video and I'm doing a link to it on Patreon and Facebook. That's where I do a lot of my just references to other people's work. It had to do with the SGT report and the transitioning of America into something that it's not. And it was really a disturbing video, but it also discouraged me, made me feel like crap about what's going on in our country, especially about the young people having to deal with all of this alternative lifestyle mentality and the push and desire for everyone to become little entitled creeps, in other words. So I felt really bad about it, and then I went into town here, into the city, and it was interesting. I pulled up to the Tractor Supply Company, and I got out and carried a couple of bottles over, propane bottles for the kid to fill up. And he says, "Oh, you're dressed in shorts and flip-flops, huh?" Because it's really cold where I'm at. And I told him, I just don't care. I'm rejecting the winter. And he laughed and he goes, just say no. And I said, just say no, huh? I said, do you even know where that came from? He said, no, I have no idea. I said, well, you look like you're about my son's age. I said, but so you weren't even alive when it came out. And I told him about the Nancy Reagan Just Say No to Drugs campaign of the 1980s. Anyways, the kid was really nice. And I looked at him, and he's very close in age, within a couple of months of my older son. And he's built like my older son. And he has the same facial expressions as my older son. And he had the same attitude that my older son had. Or maybe has, just this kind of a smirk on his face, a happy grin. The only difference was, his name was something else, and he has dark hair and dark bushy eyebrows. My son has light hair and light bushy eyebrows, but he's a really good kid. And I said, hey, you should know my son, John. And he says, no. He says, I went and I just finished school. I went to Monterey to a private academy. He says, I paid for it. It was $20,000 a year. And I said, oh, that's interesting. $20,000 a year. Did you work through high school to pay? Because he says, no, I don't know who your son was. I gave him my last name. He goes, no, I went to 4 years of school down in Monterey. And I said, did you work all the way through and pay for your own school, $20,000 a year? And the kid said yes. And then he came back up north, and he's going to a junior college to get his prerequisites out of the way before he goes to university. And he's working his way through university, and I just thought this is a stellar example of what young men and women used to be like. They would pay their own way, take advantage, take charge of their own lives, and get things done, and smile and be happy about it, and work his ass off. So I was sure to shake his hand and look him in the eye and make him look me in the eye, and I told him he's doing a great job being his own man and taking care of himself, and that's what it used to be like, right? And I went inside to pay for the propane, and I was sure to tell the checker in there that this kid is an exemplary employee and that he needs to be congratulated and then worked really hard. And then I thought, how often do we run into kids like that these days? Young people that are just getting out of high school. In fact, they should be started before they even get to high school. But being told that life is good, they need to work hard, and it's the way it was, and it's the way it should be, and in the future, eventually, it's the way it's gonna be. Because it's always been that way. This idea that you need to reject your parents, reject tradition, and reject everything and just stick your hand out and be a little whining socialist and complain about everyone else instead of smiling at hard work and busting your ass and paying your own way. Just a stark difference between these spoiled kids that are entitlement minded and these other kids out here that are still doing it. There's still hope, in other words. There is still hope for the coming generations. Because I tell you, I get down because the ones who run in front of cameras and microphones and are just little whining jackasses, they give the rest of the hardworking youth a bad name. And this kid, he just impressed me. Bright-eyed, intelligent, look you in the eye, stand up, act like a man. He was doing all the things that when you see it, it makes you proud to be an American. And it makes you proud to be a man. And if it was a young woman, and I've run into them often, that are good, you know, you're proud of them for being proud of being a woman. Just as I'm proud of young men being proud of being men. And not something in the middle or some excuse, right? They're proud to be what they are because that's what they really are. It's incredible. Anyways, just this kid's face, his facial structure, he looks so much like my son. It blew me away. Just blew me away. And since I know I wasn't out having philanderous sex, you know, I know he's not mine accidentally, which is also funny. I'm like, yeah, this kid could be mine. He's got such a good attitude and he's such a handsome young guy, right? Reminds me of my own handsome sons. But more important than that, much more important, is the proper attitude. And it helped adjust my attitude, knowing that there is still hope for them. And maybe we'll see something happen in the next couple of weeks, months, and years that'll give me hope for America. But until then, keep prepping, because chance favors the prepared mind, and shit is going to hit the fan. And these young people that are out here, there's going to be a lot of good coming out of them. So, you know, encourage them when you see them. Until then, right, we'll have to wait and see. And until I talk to you again, right, Semper Fi and Godspeed.